Move strings to the side. Ba. And ba. Okay. Okay. I think I have everything ready. I will warn though, because hopefully I'll be able to like mute it in time. But I think family's gonna like drop by later because I think my sister has driver's ed school or whatever. So like no one's home, and as soon as like a door opens, my dog's just gonna start barking like crazy. And I know. And I know. Okay, go back to where. Where was the last time I made choices? Wait. I should remember. I think this was the one. I think. I'm definitely gonna do a lot more skipping around this time, if it is what I think. I should write things down to remember things more. But I'm very, 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 very excited and also a little scared to start Reginald's route. My dog's a little grumpy, so you might hear him making some noise. Yeah. Dog. It was a tough choice, but I had to choose one of them. Oh my gosh, wait, this is on the opposite side of where it usually is. Usually I have that here and that here. Okay. Why did I move it like that? Oh, Neil. Nothing to worry about, you say. Dog. I told the others I had plans and that I'd have to meet with them some other time. Then when noon rolled around, I headed to my destination. Oh, puppy wuppy. Come here. Yeah. Reginald was not outside the cemetery gates as I had expected, so I delved deeper into the cemetery. First I was worried he had already left, but eventually I was able to find him on one of the paths. He seemed to be looking at a few graves, as if he were looking for someone. I called out to him as to not startle him. He noticed me and waved me over, so I made my way over to him. Hello again, Reginald. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. I'm surprised you showed up. I thought you might be busy such last minute.
Well, even if you weren't here, I'd probably be here anyways. Besides, I wanted to see you. I thought it'd be nice to talk again, since last time we were both preoccupied with books. Oh, puppy. I'll be right back, actually. Maybe he needs to go out. What? And wha? Huh. Almost slipped on some ice there. But dang. He didn't want to go near the beginning of the stream, but now he wanted to go right when I'm starting. Oh, puppy, come here. Yeah, a dog of high standards prefers the couch in the living room to my own bed. And I agree. Wait a minute. I just noticed something. I'll fix that later, never mind.
I'm glad to hear that. I was thinking the same thing. Oh, and speaking of books, before I forget,
Reginald handed me the book from the other day.
don't worry about checking it out at the library. I told them I'd be giving it to you, so I had them extend the due date under your name.
Oh, thank you, I think. I'm surprised they let you do that. Anyways, why are you here? Are you missing someone? I know it hasn't been too long since the funeral service, so...
Oh, heavens no. Sorry if I made you think that. I'm just here for business.
Business? Do you work at the cemetery? 'Cause I've never seen you around here before, you know?
Oh, no. I agreed to meet the caretaker here since they couldn't get off work. You see, I'm a coffin maker, and well, someone's in need of a coffin soon.
Oh, you're a coffin maker. You never told me that. That's wow. Talented king. That's really neat, actually.
Are you that impressed?
Well, you know, I'm really into those things, you know. I'm always here for a reason, after all.
I'm sorry I didn't mention it to you sooner then. If you really like coffins, I can show you a few I've designed. I have a portfolio back at home, but I'm sure I have a few pictures on my phone I can show you too.
Oh yes, please do. I'd really love to see. Aw. Takes a sip of tea. I cooked. I boiled this freaking 20 minutes early and it's still really hot. Reginald showed me a few pictures on his phone of some coffins he's made. They were all so detailed and intricate. They seemed personalized to the person they'd belong to. I was taken aback. I could have stared all day if he'd let me. Yeah. I'll try not to. Honestly, I think I didn't make this that good. It said to add 2 tablespoons. But it doesn't taste that strong. Or it just tastes like water with something in it. Which it was like that last time, but I could taste more flavor. Yeah. So next time I'll just try my own method. Wow, those are really beautiful. You really made those? I'd love to be buried in one of those one day. Was that weird?
Aw, no, you flatter me. I'm happy you like them so much. What's with that look?
What look? I wasn't making a look.
Sorry, I just had a sneaking suspicion. But no, I'm sure I'm wrong.
Suspicion? About what?
Oh, I was just thinking that you'd want me to design a coffin based off of you too?
Well, wait. Are you serious? I mean, I know I don't need it right now, but I'd be happy if you did. I mean, we hardly know each other, and that's so generous.
Oh, it's nothing, really. I thought someone like you... I thought that... Oh my gosh. I thought someone like you would appreciate that offer, and I could always use a new muse. It'd be my pleasure. Especially if it would make you that happy. You just have to promise you won't go dying on me anytime soon.
Oh my gosh. So sorry, I just... The idea of it is so flattering.
Yeah. Do you really think I'd make a good muse for one? Absolutely. When we met, I remember you telling me about how much you loved this place. Who could ever be better for inspiration? Who could ever be better for inspiration for my work? I know you love the cemetery, so we can stay here a while if you want. But I have to leave for my lunch break soon, if you're still willing to join me. Oh, right! You can go wherever you'd like. Although I do kind of feel bad. Crovin invited me to lunch today, too. Who's Crovin? He's my cousin. You're just the boy I live with. I mean, we're not actually blood related. And we're not like in-laws or anything either. His family has just always really... His family has just always been really close to mine ever since we were kids. So I call him cousin even though he's not one. But sometimes he can feel more like an annoying older brother. Yeah, I like Crovin. He definitely does make me think of like actual family members I've had. Not had. Especially with his nasty attitude lately. Nasty attitude? Yeah, he's been very easy to upset lately. Well, I guess I can't really blame him. Sweet little emo. And I know I don't really help. Well, I think you made the right decision to come here instead. You do? Absolutely. You shouldn't force yourself to be around someone who's making you feel so bad. Really, Mary. You have to take care of yourself, you know? So let's go somewhere where you don't even have to think about it. Don't worry about a boy like that. And if he ever really gets on your nerves, you can always give me a call. I wouldn't mind. I understand how frustrating some people can be sometimes. You mean that? Thanks, Reginald. That means a lot to me. Of course. Come now, let's get going. Oh, and on the way. Maybe, oh, that's right. Maybe you can recommend one of those shoujo manga to me. I've been meaning to find one to read. Reginald and I went to find somewhere to eat on his lunch break. Even though I hadn't known him long, he was treating me as if we were always friends. It was a strange feeling, but I can't say it was one that was unwelcomed. He talked so casually without pauses or hesitance in his voice. Oof, when you stutter so much. I couldn't understand why. It just felt so bizarre. And not even in a bad way, maybe I'm still not used to making friends. But I was glad I had a chance now with someone who... Before we could decide on anywhere to go, Reginald received a phone call. It was a client of his. He looked at me apologetically and told me he had to leave right away. I told him it was alright and we parted ways. After he left, I headed back to the cemetery. I didn't see anyone else there the rest of the day. I never know if that's a good thing anymore. When I got home that night, I did my usual routine. And to finish it off, I plopped on my bed and took out my phone, just like usual. Hi. Hello. Can we talk about the thing you said the other night? I haven't been able to stop thinking about it ever since you said it. What's bothering you? You said that you were coming for me? Okay. I'll just read this. I said I wanted to do more skips, but I really want to read more. That you just need, I mean, either way I'd be reading, but still, I just like reading. You just need more time. Are you really going to steal me too? It'll be alright. I promise. It's for the best. You're gonna make me sick all over again. What do you want me to tell you? I've done both those choices before, so, like, yeah. Is that really what you want? You'll see me soon. But you shouldn't worry about it. It will happen when it happens. This is for the best. Even if you can't see that right now. Even if you can't ever. When will this be over? Soon, hopefully. I just need more time. You'll hang on for me, won't you? Do I have a choice? Sweet dreams, Mary. Haha. I didn't sleep at all that night. I really didn't. There was a few times I shut my eyes and tried to. But nothing could calm me down at that point. My anxiety was through the roof. I just wanted Mom and Dad back. I wanted to know for certain they were okay. It should have been me that was taken. Maybe it was supposed to be. The next morning when I got up, Kroven was still home. He seemed to be acting pretty normal for once. At the very least, not agitated. But despite this, I didn't sit and have breakfast with him. I wasn't in the mood to really talk to anyone. Not right now. Not after last night. It was too much. I just wanted some private time to myself. I just wanted to cool down. As I was about to leave, Kroven called out to me. Not eating breakfast, Mars? I responded. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's all the same, but like, what did I not say last time? Oh, yeah. He responded with a simple okay, and after that I was out the door. Yeah. I just wanted to go to that place. And not be bothered. On the bus ride there, all three of them texted me again. Kroven said he noticed I left pretty quickly and hoped I wasn't upset with him for his behavior lately. Twyla talked about some of her progress on her research. And Reginald said he'd be at the cemetery again today. Although I appreciated their messages, I really just needed to be alone. I needed to go back there and just relax. Oh, that's not the right word. I wasn't going there to relax. I was going there to mourn. Okay, I think, yeah, I'll just skip through here then. Oops.
Restaurant.
I didn't mean to click that.
Self-voicing disabled.
I have my hands in like the position that I would if I was playing like one of those RPG games, but I'm freaking... Because that's the normal position I'm used to my hands being. So I keep clicking buttons without thinking. Ba-da-bum-bum. Bum-ba-da-ba-da-bum. Yeah. Last time, I remember my choices. Last time, first time I played, I called Kroven. Second time, called Reginald. So this time I'll probably call like Twyla. Yeah. Bum 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 bum. Skip. Whoa! What? Oops. Okay. The married couple that came in. That's the one I don't think I've read yet. I knew they were married because the bride was wearing her gown. I was still a little girl then. So she looked like a princess in my eyes. Her dress was poofy enough to lose yourself in, and she attracted quite a bit of attention when she came in. Mostly from me. When my dad asked why they were here of all places, the bride said that she wanted her grandfather to see her in her dress. But her grandpa was dead. Her grandfather was dead, and buried in the cemetery right next to us. So it was the closest she would get. I remember talking to her. She was so kind. Or at least that's how I remembered her. I asked her if she was sad that her grandfather died, and she said she wasn't. She said he wasn't gone, just someplace else. She could visit him at any time, right in the cemetery. And those words, that idea, really stuck with me as a child. Maybe that's one of the reasons I enjoy visiting it so often. It probably sounds really silly, but it really meant a lot to me in the moment. I can't remember what it what it is she came in here for exactly, but I do remember the exact seat she sat in at the counter. Oh my gosh. I would always try to sit there too whenever I could. But now it was all covered in dust, and no one's here. Oh, sleep parents' room. And yeah. Okay. Already called Croven and Reginald. Now let's see how Twyla's like. I hurriedly called Twyla. It could have been the Blackwood Butcher that was in here. And if I don't want to go to the cops, she's the next best thing, right? I mean, if anyone could tell it was the Butcher, she'd probably be able to. I hope. Come on, Twyla. Pick up already. Twyla speaking. Twyla! I need you to get over here quick. What? Why? Where even are you? The diner by the cemetery. What are our sentences? You have to come quick. I think the Butcher was here. What? Are you serious? Don't move and don't touch anything. I'm coming right now. I felt like I waited forever for Twyla to arrive. I stood in the diner alone, just standing there, waiting, possibly shaking. I don't remember it that well, but I didn't move from the spot I stood in. She did tell me not to touch anything after all. When she arrived, she didn't even give me a chance to say hi. She immediately started talking and came in holding some weird box. Ooh. I told her that whoever it was probably long gone by now, but she said we were still going to look for clues. I complied, doing whatever she asked of me. We searched the building together and I made sure I was always in the same room as Twyla, just in case. Unfortunately, we couldn't find anything that would point us to who it might have been. There was no stray hairs or torn fabrics. Twyla even dusted for fingerprints, but we could only find hers and my own. It was almost as if no one was here at all. But when we investigated my room, I noticed one of my plushes disappeared. It was one of my favorites, and I always kept it on the shelf next to my bed, so it couldn't have gotten lost so easily. Did they take it? That thought put my stomach in knots. To think they must have been in here while I was dozing off in the other room. Oh God. Ugh. After searching for what felt like an eternity, we just gave up. There was nothing more we could do here. I felt bad calling for Twyla's help just to wind up with nothing. I don't think there's anywhere else we can look. Yeah, I know, I'm sorry. I dragged you all the way here. I thought at the very least this could help in your investigation, but there's nothing really here. It's fine, it's not a total loss. Can you at least remember anything about the suspect? No. I didn't really get a good look at them. It could have been anyone. Well, whatever. Whether they're the Butcher or not, someone had a special interest in this place. And it's definitely worth looking into. Yeah.
I knew it. There are times when I think I know when my dog's gonna bark and he doesn't. And that was one of those times I didn't expect it and ended up getting scared myself. Yeah.
I'm definitely keeping an eye on this place. Maybe we can catch them next time they come back. How do you plan to do that? Don't worry about it, I have my ways. But you probably shouldn't come back. It might mess up the investigation.
Oh, alright.
That's probably smart anyways. Thanks for, helping me, Twyla?
Oops. Oh my gosh, why am I clicking buttons?
Yeah, whatever. Just don't come back here and mess anything up, okay? After a little while longer, Twyla left, leaving me standing alone here once again. I stepped outside as she drove off and locked the front door behind me, wondering if that would be enough to stop whoever broke in from doing it again. I stayed in crowded areas the rest of the day, hoping that being around so many people would provide some sense of safety. The only time I was alone again that day was when I went back home that night. But I'm never truly alone then either, am I? Hello again.
I'm gonna save just in case. Mostly because, like, I don't know, like, frickin'. Sometimes I panic and I click random buttons and there's these. And I realize I should probably save more often than I do, in case one day I accidentally click out the exit.
Ugh.
Good evening.
Was that you in my diner today?
What do you mean?
Earlier today I was in my diner, or house I guess. There was a stranger. I couldn't see their face. They ran out as soon as they realized I was behind them. Was that you? No. I don't know why I bothered asking. I doubt you'd give me the truth either way.
Sometimes lying will be necessary. But I am telling the truth now.
If you say so. I'm not really sure what else to say.
That's okay. I prefer when you don't ask questions.
Why is that?
You know what they say. Curiosity killed the cat and
Satisfaction for your back.
Good night, Mary.
So much for getting a good night's sleep.
Okay, yep. Yeah, still like looking at that scene. Ooh. I want to talk to the old lady again, even though I know I've done all the choices.
Oh, it's an umbrella. You scared me for a second. Thank you, dear. Of course. Pardon me if this sounds rude, but were you one of her friends?
Also, just so I can remember stuff. I still don't want to lie. Even though that's like a different choice, but the guilt in my heart just hits for some reason.
Oh. Well. Was my darling Minsfella.
Unless, did I lie last time? I don't remember. Either way.
She passed just last week.
Probably did. Now I think about it. I'll look back later.
My condolences. Forgive me if this sounds rude, but... what is your relationship to her? Me? Ah, yes. I'm Spella's mom. I never met you before, have I? That's okay. Lots of people haven't. I'm very sorry for your loss. How are you feeling? Feeling? It's impossible for me to feel anything but heartbroken. I truly don't believe I'll ever recover from this. Now, don't say that. She wouldn't want you to think like that, right? Yes, I suppose you're right.
Just remember certain things.
Oh, it's... You do not have to. I'm sorry if that was too intrusive. She was sick, you see. For a very long time. She was in the hospital for a while. We always thought that she was going to get better. It always seemed that way, at least. In the end, well, things didn't go as well as they thought they would, as we thought they would. Oh my gosh.
I see.
I'm very sorry that happened. It's alright. We tried our best. Do you think she's scared? She's all alone now. Where's she going to go? We'll tell her how to get there. The way she is right now. Is she happy? Even if she's not.
She's not alone. How can you say she's alone when everyone is here beside her? I know she really can't say much about it, but I'm sure she's really happy to have all her friends and family by her side. All the people here. She meant a lot to them, didn't she? That's why they're all here to keep her company. I know a lot of people like to think you're alone when you die. But I think it's hard to consider all this being alone, you know? She's not alone when we're all here.
Yes, I suppose that's true. We're all together here, aren't we? Then, I suppose I'm glad she isn't alone.
Yes, me too. I'm sorry if I've upset you by talking about her so much, miss. It is a funeral after all. I should behave more respectfully.
Oh no, it's quite alright. Talking about it has actually helped a little bit. I feel a bit better hearing your thoughts.
Is that so? I'm glad then.
Yes, thank you. I am so sorry. I didn't even catch your name.
It's alright. My name is Mary.
Mary? Mary. Hold on a moment. Do you mean to say you're...
Cemetery Mary. I see my reputation precedes me. Yes, that's me.
I see. Thank you, Mary. If Spella was here, I'm sure she'd want to thank you too.
She is here. But hearing it from you means enough already. Thank you as well. It was a lovely funeral. The coffin was lowered and soon enough the rain stopped. I watched everyone say their goodbyes to her and to each other, and then steadily they left. Soon it was just me and the lady. I'd have felt bad if I overstayed my welcome. I didn't want to last her at her own daughter's funeral, so I quietly said my goodbyes and left. But to my surprise, someone was there waiting for me on the sidewalk. Yeah! Take a sip. I hit my teeth against the freaking cup. Reginald! What are you doing here?
Oh, I just happened to be walking by when I noticed you in there. Is everything alright?
Oh yes, everything's fine. She wasn't like a family member or anything like that.
Ah,
That's a relief. Looks like he's got hard eyes.
it's always a sad thing, is it not?
Yes, it is.
It's okay. I know you don't see it that way.
Huh?
Well, since you're here, would you mind helping me with something?
Oh,
I was just about to head down to the store to pick up a few things. Just some screws, nails, a hammer or two. Just some stuff I'm running low on or need to replace.
you want my help for this? I'm not very educated in tools and all.
Oh no, that's alright. You don't need to be. I just appreciate the company is all. But if you'd rather not...
Oh no. I mean, yeah, I can come. It's not like I have anything better to do.
Lovely. Come with me. I hope you don't mind that we'll have to walk. I would have brought my car, but it was too nice of a day to pass up. To pass up the chance to walk.
In the rain?
Rightly so. A little water never hurt anyone.
Well, I guess you've got a point.
Reginald's logic didn't really make sense to me, but I decided to accompany him to the hardware store anyway. It's not like I ever go there, so it'd be a nice change of pace. Come to think of it, I didn't actually know where the hardware store was located until Reginald showed me. I guess it's good that I know now. If someone asks me where if someone asks me where the hardware store is, I'll know how to answer. The hardware store wasn't too far away from where we were, but it felt like quite the walk since I didn't know how to get there. Come to think of it, I can't remember the last time I've ever actually been in a hardware store. As Reginald held the door open for me, the smell of fertilizer wafted forward. Quite intense. We entered into what looked like the gardening section. Ooh. Screws says, eat more screws. Tasty. Well, here we are. Thank you again for coming along. I do appreciate it. Yeah, of course. Thank you for inviting me. It's nice to go somewhere different. Oh, what is it that you needed to get again? Oh, I've got a list in my pocket, actually. Hey, would you like to turn it into a game? Oh, how do you mean? I'll split the list in half. We'll each take a half and look for the items on our own. And we'll come back here when we're finished. If you can get here before me, I'll reward you. Reward me? I'll get a prize? A nice new hat. Something like that. But you'll have to beat me first. Oh, I think I can do that. Maybe. Let's do it then. I watched as Reginald ripped his list in two and handed one half over to me. Fair warning though, I know this store like the back of my hand. Hey, I might still win. Oof. After that, Reginald went on his own and left me with my share of the list. Let's see here. Antifreeze, an axe, tape measure, rat poison. Well, that's not very nice. I'll mention that to him later. Rat poison. For now, I had to get things on the list. After all, I now had a challenge to win. But I didn't anticipate how big the store was. Hardware stores are always just like really big. Or they, at least the ones I've been to. It already looked big from the outside, but now that I was walking in it, it was huge. It was a weird feeling walking in here by myself. Especially considering I don't really come to these places. I don't know what I was really expecting, but it was so empty. I remember going to hardware stores a lot when I was younger. Home Depot horror game. Frickin'. I'm trying to remember something, because I feel like something specific's in my head, but I don't know exactly what, even though I know it's specific. I always liked looking at like the bathroom sections of those, because I like the tiling and stuff like that. That wasn't the specific thing I was thinking of. I didn't even see any workers around. Despite that, I kept hearing footsteps. Reginald? I called out. No response. What am I doing? This place isn't scary. I'm just gonna get the things he asked me for. What was on that list? Wait. Hey, where'd the list go? Did I drop it somewhere? My mom always makes a list for groceries, but we always lose it. Yeah. Maybe I should, like, suggest that she makes a list on her phone. Because, like, yeah. She'll have it out for one moment, and then she'll lose it instantly. Oh, shoot. That's okay. I'm pretty sure I remembered what was on it. Do I? I'll just get those items and find my way back to the front. I just have to get... Antifreeze. I picked up a gallon of antifreeze. Should I get this blue one? Or wait, maybe he wants the green one. Maybe I'll ask him later. An axe? I picked up an axe. Is this the right kind? I mean, he's using it for wood, right? So that should be good. What would you use an axe for? It's heavy. Rat poison? I picked up a bottle of rat poison. And measuring tape. I almost clicked masking tape because they were all look together. I like masking tape. I used to paint a lot, and I use that a lot. Now I don't paint too often, so I should probably paint again. I grabbed a roll of measuring tape. I always used to play with these as a kid and try to see how long I could stretch it. Okay, I think that's all. I always was kind of scared of measuring tape. It's freaking of it snapping back, and I was always scared that what if my finger got caught? And that looked like it would hurt. Yeah. But I think I haven't used measuring tape in a while. But there is a button on it that like makes it like just stop at a certain length. I think. Yeah. Picked up what I should actually check it. My paints are actually no longer dried out. Oof. I picked up what I thought he would needed and decided to just head back towards the counter. After all, if I took too long, I would lose the race. At least I knew my way back. At the very least, I got back to the meeting spot before Reginald did. Only had to wait for about a minute before he showed up. I hope I got things right. I have bad memories sometimes. I see you made it back before me. Well done. Well, do you have everything? Yes, here you are. Ah, you did get it all. And just the brands I like, too. You haven't been spying on me, have you? After making sure Reginald had everything he needed, he and I headed to the front counter to pay for it all. That looks like a peanut. One by one, he put all his stuff into the conveyor belt, and it slowly began to move across as the cashier began to scan it. You got quite a bit of stuff, Reginald. I feel bad. Oh, why's that? Well, you don't have a car with you, and now you gotta carry these bags back home. Would you want me to help you? Oh, don't worry your silly little head about that. A little fresh air and exercise does me some good. You're not even going to take the bus? No, I'm quite alright. Reginald, can I, ask you something? Yes, of course. Is everything alright? Rat poison. Poison. Yes. It's unfortunate, but my apartment has been having a bit of a rodent problem lately. And of course the landlord won't take care of it, so somebody has to do something. Does that upset you? Well, I don't know. I wish you'd use a more humane way to get rid of them. Right, I see. In that case, I won't buy it anymore. Well, after this time, I suppose. Really? Thanks. It makes me feel better. Frickin' always have a rat problem during winter because we live so close to a field, and they always come here for the warmth. Yeah. Hey, do you want anything? Huh? Ooh. Freaking grab gummy bears. They've got a shelf over there with some candy. I don't mind buying you a chocolate bar if you want one. Oh no, that's alright. You don't have to. Are you sure? I mean... Is that supposed to be my prize for winning the race? No. I'm still thinking about what your prize should be. Since we're here anyways, might as well, right? Consider it a thank you for spending time with me today. Are you really sure? Of course I am. It's just a chocolate bar. It's just a candy bar. It's not a big deal. In that case, thank you. Ooh. Reginald bought me a chocolate bar. It made me very happy. I made sure to thank him for it, even though he insisted it was his thanks to me. After we left the store, Reginald had to head home, saying saying he ought to drop off his tools and stuff. He said he felt bad not being able to invite me to do more. I told him it was completely okay. I didn't need to do anything. Or he didn't need to do anything. I had a nice time today. Time must really fly. Because when I checked the time afterwards, we were already well into the afternoon. I ended up heading home a little early that day. I didn't have much else to do outside, so I went home. I read some books and made myself dinner and then put the leftovers in the fridge. And then I washed up and put on pajamas. And well, do I even have to explain what I did after that? Hi again.
Hello.
So what did you do today?
What?
Well, if you're not going to talk about my parents to me, I'd at least want to hear about something that you're doing.
We shouldn't talk about what I do.
I wanna.
I understand. Maybe eventually. But not today. I'm sorry. I need to leave. Good night, Mary.
Shush, shush, shush. I yawned and lied down. Hey, Billy. Who's texting me so late at night?
Mary! Are you awake? I understand if you aren't, of course. It's a bit late, isn't it? But whenever you read this, do respond.
Reginald? Why are you up so late?
Oh, hello! Don't worry about that. I shook my desk. I just thought of the perfect prize for you. And I had to tell you as soon as I possibly could.
Really? What is it?
You loved seeing my work the other day, right? Unless you were just flattering me. Anyways, I was thinking you could come to my workshop. And I can show you how a coffin is made. At least the way I do it. I thought it'd be a nice idea if you're into it.
You're serious? I'm allowed to come see?
Of course you are. I wouldn't have invited you otherwise.
Then, yeah, I'd love to see. I think that's really cool. Thank you so much.
Of course. I'm often alone, so it'll be nice to have some company. Here, I'll send you the directions momentarily.
Intriguing. Reginald gave me the directions to his workshop. We made plans to meet there in a few days. I always wondered what went into making the coffin, so I was plenty excited to be able to see it for myself. There's only so much you can read online about stuff like this. Being able to experience it firsthand would be something entirely different. Honestly, it was a bit hard to contain how giddy I was. I felt like a kid again, excited for a field trip the next day. Well, back when I went to school with other kids and all. Anyways, I was excited. And after feeling like I'd been waiting forever, the day finally arrived. Speaking of field trips, I just remember the Wild West Museum in our that I went to in elementary school. Buying some root beer, and like you'd have to stand on one side of the counter while they like slide it over to you. Like they would crack it open, and it was like such a smooth and cool slide. My biggest fear was like I wouldn't catch it or I wouldn't react, and it would just miss my hands. And I forgot how much the root beer cost. It's like the price for the root beer plus the whole sliding. And after feeling like I'd been waiting forever, the day finally arrived. Getting off the bus at the closest shop, I walked to the location Reginald told me I should go. He told me it was a bit of a ways off the sidewalk, and not too close to many buildings. It honestly felt like I walked into a whole new city. Nice. Definitely wasn't as brick and mortar as back where I'm used to being. There were so many trees and buildings were so spread. The grass grew in such a way that it didn't feel overgrown, despite reaching a bit above your ankles. I walked down the town's cracked sidewalk until I came across a pebble path. And following it down, I caught a sight of Reginald's workshop. It was so old-fashioned. It was big, but completely made of wood. It almost looked like its own little cottage way out here. But it was charming, and I liked it. Nice. I went up to the door and gave it a few gentle knocks. I didn't hear anything at first, but then... Ooh.
What a look.
Reginald opened the door. At first he had a not-so-happy expression on his face. It was only for a split second, but I noticed it before it changed.
Ah, Mary, you're here. Come in, come in. So glad you could make it.
What a look. I took a step into the workshop. It was so cozy in here. There was such... There was such gentle sunlight flowing in through the windows, and the smell of sawdust was prominent in the air. But it was a good kind of sawdust smell. It smelled like productivity and hard work.
I actually just started my break, but you're free to look around and ask about things in the meantime.
Are you sure? I don't want to bother you on your break.
Oh, nonsense. I can't think of a better way to spend my free time. So anything you're curious about?
These are your work clothes?
Oh, yes. Do you like them?
Oh, yes! They look very nice. But, your hair is still a bit loose, don't you think?
Yes, yes. You're not the first to say that. But it's hard to control it all, and I can't bear to cut it. No worries, though. I assure you, I haven't had an accident since. And if I do, then you can just tell me you told me so.
More woods than I expected.
Oh, you think so? Yes, I do prefer to keep things a little more natural out here. It takes a bit longer, but it's more than worth it in the end. Better for the environment as well. Extravagantly so. I think that's because I had you helping me that day. Are you secretly a good luck charm?
I think I feel more like the opposite, if I'm honest.
Oh, come now, don't say that. You haven't let me down yet.
Are you always alone here?
Oh, not always. Okay, just about always. But it's alright. I don't mind it. I get to meet with some others when they need faces and all. So I'm not always alone. So don't worry about it. Besides, are any of us really alone?
He winked at me after saying it. Is your work in the back?
Indeed it is. It's just the base right now, though. Nothing too special about it yet.
Oh, no, frickin' I accidentally double tap. Okay, no, I didn't really miss anything. It just... Bzz. I think it looks pretty good, though. Especially since it's not like I know how to do any of this stuff.
Well, if you'd like, you could take a step inside. You could be my little tester.
Oh, really?
Sure, I mean... Haven't you always wanted to know what it's like to actually lie in one? I know I have.
Yeah. I'd like to try it if that's okay. If it's okay.
Of course it is. I wouldn't have offered otherwise.
I stepped into the coffin. Even though it was still standing upwards, I crossed my arms as if I had been lying down in it. Reginald gave me a teensy wave as he lifted the lid and placed it over the coffin, encompassing me in darkness inside. Freaking that scared me. I think I'm claustrophobic, and that wouldn't feel good for me. Though I do want to know what it's like to be in a coffin. I don't think I could handle it.
How's it feel in there?
It's cozy, I think.
I'm sure it'll be a lot
cozier once it's finished. Maybe we'll add some nice cushions and a shiny finish to really put it over the top. Said Girl Simulator.
Yeah.
I always did wonder what it feels like in those. I guess you'll have to let me try it again when it's finished. Yeah? Hello? Reginald? You're still there, right? Hello? That would be my worst fear. Guess I'll just let myself out then. Huh? Yeah. Claustrophobia. I had pushed on the lid in front of me, but it didn't budge at all. I pushed harder, but to no avail. Reginald? Can you hear me? I'd like to get out now. Hey! How much air is in here anyways? I tried pushing again. No use. And no matter how much I yelled out to him, it seemed as if Reginald had just vanished. Hey! Let me out, please! I punched the lid in an attempt to get out. I felt pain surge through my wrists as I did so. But still, I did it again. And again. And again. Help me! Please! Let me out! Let me out! Please! I can't get out! Please! Finally, I was let out. I struggled to catch my breath as I was met with the face of Reginald, who looked quite shocked to see me in such a state. Mary? What happened? Are you alright? Where were you? Didn't you hear me screaming in there? No, someone had knocked on the door. I figured you'd be able to get out on your own, so You look shaken. Just a little bit. I just got so nervous when I couldn't get out. I'm sorry. No, I'm the sorry one. Really, I'm so sorry. Today was supposed to be nice, but I shouldn't have left you alone. I'm sorry. I'll make it up to you, okay? You really don't have to. It's alright. I'd feel bad. It wasn't your fault. It is my fault. Besides, I won't feel good about it unless I do something to make it up to you, okay? It's just how I am. Intriguing. I stayed for about less than an hour after that. It became pretty awkward after my little panic. And Reginald still looked like he felt really bad. I told him I'd let him work in peace. He told me it was okay if I wanted to leave. But he'd like to see me again soon. We said our goodbyes and I left, not wanting him to feel any worse over it. I didn't do much the rest of the day. I had, well, planned around this. But now I didn't feel up for doing much at all. I went back home and decided to just relax. I was sure that once I was fully calm, what happened today wouldn't have seemed that bad at all. So I spent the rest of my evening at home, until it was time for bed once again. I got something to ask you again. Are you there? Yes, I'm here. I want to ask you something. You just did. What? No, something different. Go ahead. Are you trapped? What do you mean by that? What you're doing right now. Is it because you want to? Or do you not have a choice? There's always a choice. Even if that choice is to do nothing. But the choice I've made was with the best intentions in mind. Good night, Mary. I went to bed after that. I don't know if it became easier to sleep at night. I don't know if it becoming easier to sleep at night was a good thing or a bad thing. Regardless, I slept. The days following were mostly uneventful. But I think that's probably a good thing. I didn't need something to shake things up even more. The first 2 days that passed, I did my usual hobbies. I went to the cemetery. I placed flowers. I planted flowers. I didn't really talk to anyone. That was fine too. On the third day it was raining, so I decided to stay at home. I decided to finally take out the manga I got from the library. I hadn't started it yet, and today seemed like the perfect day too. Ooh-hoo-hoo. I lit the fireplace as I cuddled up with the blanket next to it, expecting to spend quite a little while sitting there. It was a thick book, but I was sure I could finish it all in a sitting. As for its contents, well, it wasn't the best manga I had ever read. But it was still really interesting and captivated me nonetheless. The story was mostly lighthearted and at some points even felt like a comedy. But I had just gotten to the part that was a bit more serious, making me all the more invested. Wow. The main boy was hopelessly in love with the main girl. That was obvious enough from the start. Despite this, he didn't want to be her boyfriend. In fact, he didn't want to be in a relationship with her at all. The manga had been pretty comedic up until this point. It was mostly about the boy taking wild steps to keep the girl his friend, while also not wanting it to evolve into more, or even insinuate he had feelings for her. He never explained why he doesn't want to date her, just that he doesn't. But now it appears that the girl had grown feelings for him in return, making things all the more complicated. And it looks like the boy was ready to confess why he felt the way he did. I was completely immersed as I turned the page, only to be met with... No way! I would hate that. Oh, how terrible. Someone had vandalized the pages with some sort of black paint or nail polish, it seemed. I turned the next page just to make sure the rest of the book was alright. I would hate that so much. There is this one series, it wasn't scribbled out, but like, there's this one series I remember reading in middle school, like, what was it called? Hikaru no Go? And it had, like, the library had almost all the volumes, except for one. And I always thought, oh, someone just had it. And I waited so many weeks for it to come, and never did. And I'm pretty sure either they didn't have it, or someone, like, just took it home and never returned it. And I never know what happened in that volume. I don't remember how many volumes there were, but, like, I had to skip a volume. But one day, I'm hoping to, like, collect that series again, just, like, to relive all the memories. Ah! My phone almost fell. And hopefully finally figure out what happened in that last book, because I'm pretty sure obviously, a big major plot point happened. And I didn't really understand why it happened, because the next thing I knew, a character I, like, disappeared. Sure enough, the other pages were also scribbled in black. Except for one. Oh. There was a drawing on it, and what looked like some kind of writing underneath. It made me feel disappointed. I know it's not all that uncommon for edgy teens to write in books and all. But still, this belonged to the library. You shouldn't damage it. I tried to look on the bright side and think maybe it was a donation to the library instead. That someone had drawn in this book when they owned it, and donated it without realizing. Still though, no one checked to see if the book was in good enough shape to be donated? Well, there was nothing I could do about it now. I made a mental note to tell the library of the damaged book when I went next, and flipped back through the beginning pages to make sure I didn't miss any other marks. But when I did... What? Huh? The page that I was just on looked nothing like it did before. All the characters, it was like they were looking straight at me. I turned the page and it was the same. All eyes were on me. Completely startled, I had thrown the book away from me. But I didn't see where I was throwing. Into the fire? Oof. In my panic, I thrown the book right into the fire. Oh no! Oh no, no, no. I wanted to save it, but it was too late.
Aw, that's a big fear of. I have so many books in my room. And, like, maybe not necessarily throwing, but I'm scared for the day if a fire ever starts here. I'm gonna lose all my books. Knock on wood that it doesn't happen. Or that at least somehow, by some miracle, they'll be safe if it does.
Ugh. I wanted to save it, but it was too late. Putting the fire out wouldn't have saved it. It was already pitch black and burning into ash. I smacked myself in the head. I was always so careful with library books, and now I just let one get completely destroyed. Stupid, stupid, stupid. Even though the book was beyond rescue, I still had to clean the fireplace out. The fireplace now. I sighed and gathered the proper tools to clean it. Kneeling in front of the fireplace, I heard my phone go off. I picked it up shortly after, worried that it might have been Crovin needing something important. But it was Reginald once again.
Hello, Mary. How are you feeling today?
Me? I'm okay, I guess.
Are you sure? I still feel terrible about what happened the other day.
What do you mean?
When you got stuck, remember? Or well, perhaps it's better if you don't remember. Well, anyways, I've still been feeling pretty awful about that. I was thinking of ways I could make it up to you somehow. And luckily an opportunity has recently presented itself.
Oh, you don't have to do anything. Really, it's alright.
Please, I think you'll really like it.
Are you sure?
Of course I'm sure. In fact, I'd say it was meant to be. It's so perfect for you after all. You see, I was recently invited to a funeral. And who better to invite with me than you?
Oh, I'm so sorry. Are you feeling alright?
Oh yes, no need to worry. It was no one close. Just someone I used to know a long time ago. I hadn't seen him in ages, so it surprised even me that I was invited. Oh my gosh,
Self-voicing disabled.
keep accidentally clicking that. But since I thought you would like to come. You do like these events, right?
Well, I guess I can't deny that I do. But are you really sure it's okay for me to come?
Of course. I think if anyone could put the fun in funeral, it's you.
Oh. Oh, you. Aw, shucks. Reginald forwarded me the details of the funeral and told me where I'd be meeting him. Despite our area's pretty cemetery, this funeral was going to be entirely in a church. I had never been to a funeral in a church before. Each one of it I've attended had been outside, and it's a lot easier to walk into one that's held outdoors. But now I was invited, and I could not deny. I did feel a little excited. Is that bad? I've never really gone to churches, but they've always seemed so pretty from the outside. I just never had a reason to go. But now I do. I kept in touch with Reginald until that day, always double checking the details, such as time and location. Good. I didn't want to be late, or hold anything up, or cause any disruptions. Reginald kept assuring me that it would be alright, though. And that he'd wait for me outside so I wouldn't get too lost either. On the day of the funeral, I wore my usual attire. It's one of the great things about dressing like this. I'm always funeral ready. I mean, that's not the only reason I dress like this. I just like the color black a lot. And I think red is still my favorite color. Probably. When I turned down the street the church was on, I spotted Reginald standing on the front steps. He spotted me in return and gave a polite wave as he waited for me to reach him. Why don't you look nice?
Oh, really? I'm just wearing what I always do.
Haha, yes, I know. But it's a nice look for you. Ah, right. Here, take this.
Reginald handed me a small package of tissues.
I know you're not one to cry at these events, but just in case.
Oh, thank you. That's very considerate of you. Do you think you'll need them too?
Oh, no. I'm not much of a crier, I'm afraid. Besides, I think it's hard to be sad with you around.
Reginald opened the door for me and I stepped inside. I'd always admired the buildings from the outside, but had never been inside before. The ceiling towered above us. The walls were clean and dark, and the tiled floors below us gave us a pleasant sound when stepped on. He gestured to the direction we'd be heading in for the service. There was a lot of people. That made me happy. We all herded into the room, everyone looking for a proper pew to sit in with a nice enough view of the priest. I sat down in the closest open spot to me, and almost immediately I felt an overwhelming sense of dread.
Ooh. Blur.
I'm not sure what caused it, or why it was happening, but it was as if the world was ending. Somehow? I don't know. I just couldn't place this overwhelming sense of doom that I was feeling. I looked around. It seemed like no one else was experiencing it. But it was so prominent to me. Almost tangible. Like a heavy weight that was sinking into your shoulders. Or loud music that reverberated through your bones. The ceilings were so high and I had plenty of room to sit. And yet I felt so terribly claustrophobic. I could not even hear what the priest was saying. Rather, I could hear it, but I felt as if I could not listen properly. As if they were speaking underwater. What was this feeling? It was making me feel sick. I felt the temples of my head start to throb the more time went on. And each muffled noise that coursed its way across the room somehow gave me a sense of nausea. As if just the vibrations of sound were causing me to feel dizzy. Something wasn't right. That's all I could think to myself. I felt almost paralyzed in my seat as the bad feelings continued, so on and so forth. It was hard to describe exactly how it felt. Was this a stroke? A heart attack? I couldn't pinpoint this feeling. I just knew that something wasn't right. I wasn't even sure how to handle these feelings. It was as if I had entered some kind of dreamlike state. As if what I was feeling and everything around me was all some sort of elaborate dream. It was scary and claustrophobic. I felt like I had tunnel vision, and the world around me was becoming blurred.
This is like nowhere near what like she's probably feeling, but this is like just making me think of like some of the times when I've been sick. And like the one that like hits my head the most is like when I was sick watching Animal Planet, and like my head felt so fuzzy, felt so warm. And like my dad walked in and asked me what I was doing up so late. And like why I hadn't gone to sleep yet. It's like, oh, I can't sleep yet. There's an elephant on me, because like I was like so immersed into Animal Planet or whatever, and like all the animals I saw felt like they were in the room with me. And another thing happened recently where I remember I had eaten strawberry jello, so the entire time I thought there was like a piece of strawberry on top of my head as I was like trying to sleep, because my head just felt so heavy. noise around me felt so muffled, and yet also so loud. It made my ears ring. And all the while, the only message my brain was feeding me was that something wasn't right. I didn't want to be disrespectful to the service or anything, but I had to leave. At least just leave the room. How long had this gone on anyways? It felt like it had been hours, but that couldn't have been the case. I think I was just feeling really sick, and that's why I eventually worked up the strength to exit the room. Things didn't seem quite so close in when I did, but I still felt tidal waves of nausea rush over me every few moments. I couldn't understand what was causing this to happen. I felt terrified. In my dizzied state, I stumbled about until I found a bathroom. I went inside. The lights were bright and fluorescent, in contrast to the rest of the church. The buzzing noise and stark whiteness of the room did not help my condition at all. As if overloading my senses even more. Luckily, I was already in front of a toilet. When my sickness got the better of me, I threw up. And something definitely was not right. Ooh. Whatever I had puked into the toilet was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. It was pure black. And it glistened oddly in the light. Like ink or tar. Did this really come out of me just now? Or am I just seeing things? This feeling of nausea still hasn't left. A knock on the door. I wasn't given much time to inspect it further. But truthfully, I didn't know if I wanted to. I had to be just seeing things, right? I told whoever was outside that I would be just a minute. I flushed the toilet and wiped the seat with toilet paper. All the murky, inky black water came up clear again after I had flushed it. Just some goop. I washed my hands and cleaned myself up at the sink before heading back out there again. Goop, goop, soup. Ooh. As I exited the bathroom, I was greeted by a lady and a gentleman standing right in front of me. Oh, goodness, you startled me. I'm so sorry. And I apologize for the wait. Please go ahead. Oh, that's quite alright. I just wanted to fix my makeup before we head out for dinner. Got a case of the purples. Will you be joining us too? Huh? We saw you in the service there with us. Everyone was invited to come join us for dinner after. Sorry if we appeared rude, but who are you anyways? You're not some kind of crasher, right? Huh? What do you mean? How are you related to the deceased? Who did you come here with? Oh, that! That's, just because I'm actually just... Dwink, dwink, dwink. I was a co-worker. Bird cousin twice removed. The original. Perfect time stretch is when you have to make big choices. That would be hard. I would need... I don't know what those hats are called. But I remember that episode of SpongeBob with that one hat. Where you could drink from it, yeah? And then you'd be able to drink and stretch at the same time. Yo. Okay, let's go for the middle choice. I didn't want to cause any trouble leaving the service in the middle of it. I just wasn't feeling all that great, so I took off on my own. I I don't know where he is right now, but I'll see him again soon, I'm sure.
Oh, I see. You must be very wound up about this all then. Sorry to bother you.
Oh no, don't be sorry. It's okay. I noticed him give me a weird look as we went our separate ways. As I got closer to the main hall, I could see more and more people spilling out the ends. It seemed like the service was just about over, but I couldn't just leave. There was something really weird going on here, and I knew it was connected to that coffin. The closer I got to it, the more intense that nauseating pressure felt. It felt like walls closing in on my brain. And with what happened in the bathroom earlier, I couldn't just let it go. I snuck closer to the coffin. We were alone together, and the pressure felt more intense than ever. Honestly, I felt like I could puke again from just standing here. It just felt so hard to focus on anything except the pressure of it all. And something was telling me what's inside. I don't know if it's a body. I could hardly think properly. But all my brain could tell me was that something else was in there. No one else is around, right? Maybe if I could just see inside. All I need is one quick glance, and then maybe my mind will be at ease. I reached my arm towards the coffin, and... Woo!
Ah, there you are.
Reginald?
Did you get lost? I noticed you ran off earlier. Is everything alright?
Oh, Actually, I'm not alright.
Oh? What's wrong?
I don't know. I started feeling really sick today. I'm all woozy and dizzy. And my head feels like it's throbbing. I don't know why.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. Would you like me to drive you home?
Oh, that... No, it's okay.
Are you sure? How are you going to get home then?
No, it's fine. I'll be fine.
Absolutely? Because you don't sound all that okay.
I think I just need to lie down somewhere.
Choices. Up. Let's lay down at your place.
Actually, I'm sorry to intrude, but do you think I could lie down at your place for a little while? I think I'll be okay to go home after I just rest a little somewhere.
Yes, of course. Here, let's get you out of here.
Cough. Reginald and I quickly and quietly exited the church together. Even though we were getting further from the coffin, the immense pressure I felt from standing next to it didn't seem to fade any. In fact, it almost seemed to be getting worse. Regardless of my distance from it, I felt bad and a little weird about going to Reginald's place like this. But it seemed like it was my only choice. But it was fine. I had my phone on me too if I needed it. In case of an emergency. I really needed to lie down somewhere. Not necessarily sleep, but just lie down. I crawled into Reginald's car with him. It smelled like one of those old pine air fresheners, but there wasn't any hanging from his rear view mirror.
Don't worry, Mary. We'll be there soon. And don't be afraid to ask for anything on the way there, either. You really are starting to look sick.
I don't know what he meant by that. But I didn't really have the energy to ask about it. The world around me felt like it was spinning. I hoped I wouldn't throw up again in Reginald's car. And I really hope I wouldn't need to go to the hospital or anything like that. I probably should have paid more attention on the drive to Reginald's apartment. But in the state I was in, it was very hard to. Nothing really looked quite as it should. Everything we passed just seemed to meld together into shapes. My head was killing me. I don't remember how long we even drove for. I just remembered Reginald parking his car and helping me out on the other side. Oof. He let me lean against his shoulder as he brought me in through the front door. Oof.
Feeling sick is the worst.
The elevator's broken, so we're going to have to take the stairs. I hope that's alright. That's fine. It won't be that long, okay? Just a little further. Reginald brought me to the stairs and helped me up them one by one. Somehow, it felt like the most difficult task in the world. Like I couldn't even focus, moving my own 2 feet. I didn't understand anything that was happening. I really just needed to lie down. As we ascended the stairs, I heard someone else coming down from an upper floor. I didn't think much of it until they stopped us on one of the landings. Reginald! There you are.
I'm sorry, you'll need to get out of the way.
Can't you see I'm busy right now? Come on, you can't tell me you didn't notice it too. And when I try to talk to Miss Sherwood about it, she doesn't answer me. Have you heard anything from her?
Elmay, I told you I'm busy. Kindly move out of the way. Now!
I felt a shove past the poor lady. I felt bad for her, but I also felt as though I could barely walk anymore. I really hoped I wouldn't throw up again. And then at some point, we're no longer on the staircase. I heard Reginald take out his keys and unlock his door. Oof. Gloom and sick.
Well, here we are. I know it's not much, but I hope it'll do. But you're unwell. I shouldn't ramble. Here, why don't you lie on the couch? Watch some TV. I'll start some tea. Maybe it'll help you feel better.
Oh my gosh. I somehow splashed tea on my glasses. Yeah. Okay. Thank you. I almost collapsed onto his couch the second I was close to it. I don't know what was wrong with me. I just needed to relax. I tried to listen to what he told me. Watch TV.
The elephants.
Maybe if I could just distract myself like that. Oof. I reached over his coffee table and turned the TV on. I fumbled for the channel buttons, trying to put on something calm. Maybe a cooking show, or a house show, or something like that. And then I stumbled upon a channel I hadn't seen before.
Oh,
An eye? Does that look like an eye? I think it kinda do. The screen went all static. At first I thought the TV just lost connection. But even when I fiddled with the remote, nothing changed. When I hit the power button, it didn't turn off. Even though it was static, I could still hear something. But I felt too dizzy. It was hard to listen. There were words. What are the words? It was almost like I could tell it was talking. Wait, did I read that right? Yeah, I did. Okay. It It was talking to me. Like it was trying to tell me something. Even trying my hardest, I just couldn't focus on it. As if it was in some sort of bizarre dream. It was all hazy, swirling around and around in my head. I just need to lie. Whoa. Bright lights. Ooh. Cozy. Good morning, sleepyhead. Or, well, evening, rather. Reginald? What happened? You fell asleep. What else? You must have been feeling awfully sick. Are you feeling any better? God morning. It's a God morning here, I guess. Are you feeling any better? Oh, yes, actually. I think so. I was feeling a little better. My head still hurt, but I wasn't anywhere near as dizzy as I was before. I'm glad your nap helped you then. Unfortunately, I had to dump your tea. It got a bit too cold.
Yeah. Cold tea isn't the best. So there's some brands or some flavors that I can like handle. But like mostly the one that I like and it's good whenever I feel like cramps is like this pomegranate green tea, but it tastes I hear it door. I heard the door open before he did, but I was a second too late. I know there's been like 1 or 2 times I've gotten it before he had a chance to bark. I thought I would make it, but then, yeah. Anyways, pomegranate green tea doesn't taste good cold. But chai, tea, vanilla, latte, pretty decent. I mean, it's not the best cold. I just hit my teeth again. It's manageable cold. I got a bit too cold. But I have no problem making you another cup if you'd like.
Oh, that's alright. Hey, wait. The TV? Did you hear it earlier?
Hear what?
The TV. It was making a bunch of strange noises.
How do you mean? The TV was off when I came over to sit with you.
Oh. I must have just been dreaming then. Sorry for falling asleep on your couch. I didn't mean to.
Why are you apologizing? You were feeling sick. It's quite alright. I'm sure you would let me do the same if our situations were reversed.
Wait. You said good evening earlier. What time is it? I checked the time. Oh goodness. It was getting so late. I was really asleep that long? I stood up from Reginald's couch and told him I really ought to get going. I thanked him once again for helping me so much.
Of course. Hopefully we can see each other again soon. Maybe at a time when you aren't feeling so sick.
I made my way quickly and carefully down the stairs, hoping to catch the next bus on time. I noticed the closer I got to the bottom, the more it started to smell. It was less than pleasant. I guess that's what the neighbor lady wanted to ask Reginald about. Reginald got pretty mad at her, didn't he? I tried not to let it affect my opinion of him too much. After all, it sounded like he was just really worried about me. If I looked as sick as I felt, then, well, I'd be worried too. Luckily, I caught the bus on time. Got on safe, walked home safe, made it home safe. Made it to home base safe. And then, you know, followed my usual routine after that. I like to go to bed quickly tonight, if that's alright. That's alright. You're never under obligations to contact me every night. I know, but I feel like I have to. Do you? I do. Why is that? Because if I don't... You shouldn't worry about that. How can I not? You will hear about them again. And you will hear from them again, too. Didn't you say you'd like to go to bed quickly? Why don't you go get some rest? Good night, Mary. Oh, Mary. Next following days, I didn't feel so great. I must have caught something that day, but I wasn't aware there was anything going around. Maybe it was just a bad cold? That doesn't feel like a bad cold. I don't know. I just couldn't help but feel so sick. It wasn't as extreme as the first day, but I still felt so horrible. I was so terribly dizzy. My head was always throbbing. I would try to just nap it off, but I couldn't stay asleep for long. Sometimes I would just pass out anyways. I wish I knew why I was so sick. But I didn't really want to go to the doctor just yet. Hopefully, if I waited a while, it would just pass on its own. That's how it usually works anyways. So here I'll sit. I just hope I'll have the energy in me to get up later. Because sitting here, I'm not feeling too hot. I heard familiar footsteps thump down the stairs and then turn into this room. Hey, Crow. Psst. Mars. You awake? Yeah, I'm up. Okay, just wanted to make sure. I'm going to head out for a little, alright? What? It's just for a little, okay? I'll be back before you know it. Crovin, please don't leave. I'm sick. I know, Mary, I know. But this is important, alright? What if I need something? What if I pass out again? Come on, Mary, you're not that bad. Besides, it's not like I could really do much for you. You know I don't like to be left alone when I'm sick. I'm the same way. I know, but like I said, this is important. It's more important to me? Mars. Do you really need me to stay that badly? Please. Alright, I'll stay. You really are that sick, huh? I'm really sorry. I don't want to, I just feel a lot better knowing you're here. No, it's alright. I understand. You always care for me when I'm sick and all. Staying is the least I could do. How do you feel right now? I don't know. Could be better? Right. Here, I'll be right back. Crovin walked into the direction of the kitchen. I heard a bit of rattling shortly after. I was a bit worried knowing Crovin isn't always super reliable. But I was pleasantly surprised when he came back out and passed the warm mug into my hands. Hell yeah. Crovin? You made this? Yeah, it's nothing special. I just followed the instructions on the box. It's, oh, hell yeah. Hot chocolate. Hot chocolate. I found it way back in the pantry, and I know how much you love chocolate, so... Oh, shoot. It, might be expired, though. I don't really know how that stuff works. Milk is still fresh though, so I think it's fine. Thank you. Thank you so much. Aw. Aw. Yeah, whatever. Like I said, it was nothing. Anything for you, Mars. Aw, that's so sweet.
I love these twos too much too. Man. Oh. Hot chocolate.
Before I knew it, the sun started to set outside. And so I trudged my way upstairs, getting ready for bed. I hoped I'd be able to sleep the whole night this time. But of course, it couldn't be that simple. Even in my sick state, I still had to talk to, well, you know. I know you want to message me. Oh? You beaten me to the punch. You mentioned you were feeling unwell the other night. So please, give tonight a rest and go to bed. I might actually listen to you for once. Do take care if it gets too serious. I will. Please do. We worry about you. We. Good night, Mary. Dun, dun. It's been a few days. I'm feeling a lot better. Whew. So I'm glad I didn't catch anything too serious. But how sick I felt really got me wondering. Especially with that coffin. There was something about it. I had to know more. Although, it's too late for me to get to it now. I was overcome with the desire to know what had been making me feel so strange around it. Even if I couldn't get to the coffin again. There was still a place I could go. Creak. Ooh. I found myself back at the church. I felt uneasy walking in. But I didn't feel sick anymore. The atmosphere in here was no longer heavy. Click save. At least not as heavy as it had been before. I still felt some sense of pressure. But it was nowhere near as bad as it had been. It didn't feel great. To walk into a church and immediately feel like something was wrong. There had to be someone I could talk to in here. I walked through the halls. There were no services today, so there was nobody, really. I wondered about the long halls with their tall walls. Something about walking through a building like this Something about walking through a building like this, deafeningly silent, and feeling a sense of pressure. Well, it just didn't feel quite right. Eventually, though, I made it to a room with someone in it. A priest standing at the far end. Getting closer, I recognized them as being the same from the funeral service. Maybe they could help me then. I lightly coughed as I approached closer to alert them of my presence. They looked up to speak to me. Ooh. Ah. May I help you? Oh, yes, actually. I just, It's hard to explain, but, I don't know, I just need some help. Help is here for you. What do you need help with? Hi, well, I was here for a funeral service not long ago. And when I was here, I started feeling not that great. Even now, I don't feel like I think I should. And well, my life in general hasn't been taking the best of turns lately. I'm sorry. I'm sure this is really stupid. But I guess I'm wondering.
Someone upstairs mad at me?
Would you be able to know?
No.
It's quite alright. Even if you feel confused now, I'm sure the light of your situation will reach you soon. God loves all their children very much so, and that includes you. So there is no reason to worry. Unless, of course, you've done something wrong.
What? No, of course not. I mean, I don't think I've done anything wrong.
Are you sure? Perhaps you should look over your actions. Sometimes it is easy for us to overlook all we have done wrong.
Did I read that right at all?
Perhaps that is why God may be treating you in such a way, to remind you of what needs to be done.
I see. Maybe there is something I can do better.
We can always do better. But do not fret. As I have said, God loves all children, and that includes you. Sometimes love may be tough, but the point will get across in the end.
Yes, you are correct.
Is there anything more you'd like to ask about?
I want to ask about heaven.
What about heaven?
Do people always go to heaven when they die?
Not necessarily, but I'm sure...
Hello? Hello? Money? A 20? Money? Well, thank you so much, really. Whoa. When you get a 20. Unless I'm reading wrong. Ooh, whoa. Thank you.
Not necessarily, but I'm sure you know that.
Tee. Ooh, I just feel a little happy.
Right.
Right. Let me rephrase it. I'm gonna reread what I just read because now all of a sudden my mind just went blank. You always go to heaven when they die? Not necessarily, but I'm sure you know that. Right. Let me rephrase it. Does everyone go somewhere when they die?
Certainly.
Right. I figured as much. I want to ask about angels. Seeing the word angels and death makes me think of the game Angels of Death. It's a decent game.
Angels.
People talk about guardian angels a lot. I have to wonder, are they real? Do they help me stray from harmful paths? Does everyone have one? Do I have one?
That depends. Do you believe that you do?
I want to ask about death. What happens to people when they die? Like, exactly. If you know that, what is the process like?
Their souls depart from their bodies and travel someplace new. Where they end up depends on how they lived.
Do they know?
Know what?
When someone dies, do they know that they are dead?
Yes. I imagine they would know quite well.
I see. I want to ask about nothing. Thank you for your assistance.
Of course. Please do not feel scared. You coming here in itself proves to me that you do not wish to be a bad person. I am sure God has a plan for you. Do not stress about the outcome. It is in their hands now.
I see. Thank you. Thank you very much. I exited the church shortly after. I wasn't quite sure how to feel. I didn't quite feel like I got the answers I was looking for. The pressure began to lift off my shoulders once again, once I was out the doors. But I still just couldn't shake the feeling of there being something more to all this. Something I was missing. I decided to head to the library. Maybe I could look at some books.
Not necessarily about religion, but maybe stuff about omens or signs. Maybe if there really was a sign, I didn't want to miss it. So I made my way to the library as briskly as I could. Started taking out book after book to see what might help me with all this. I was sure that I'd be able to at least find something. Even something small is better than nothing. Books, books, books. I picked up a few books and sat myself down in a corner to read them. I must say, though, I couldn't really understand most of it. I tried very hard to, but lots of it just didn't make sense to me.
I have struggles reading books too. Going through them. There are very few like novels that I can read without like spacing out and having to reread the entire page. Like, I think the only author off the top of my head that I can think of whose books like I can read without that happening very often and like still being able to comprehend something is like Sean David Hutchinson's books. But like, freaking, I haven't read a novel in a while, and I bought one of his ones like 2 years ago, and I still haven't read that yet. Though when it comes to comics, no matter how wordy they are, or like just video games in general, like it feels, I don't know, feels more easier to read. Maybe because most of the time it's just like, I know right off the bat that it feels good. I don't know how to describe. And books from school always felt really easy to read for some reason. Maybe it was also the pressure of like having to make sure you know things for the quiz. I need to read a novel soon. Especially the one I bought 2 years ago. It's about space. I think. Yeesh. Lots of it just didn't make sense to me. Still though, I didn't want to leave without finding something out. Surely one of these books had to help me. Let's read about luck. Luck is a tricky thing. What does it mean when you say someone is lucky? Everyone always assume it means good luck. But can it mean bad luck too? Ooh. I was never good at studying. Ooh. Frickin'. Sometimes I don't even know how I made it through, like, school. I think math was, like, the worst thing I was in. Because that was, I tried so hard. Like, that was the only thing I can really imagine, like, or not imagine, vividly remember, like, trying to study for. And no matter how many different ways I tried to pay attention to the board or how things were written, I started drinking coffee, like, I think the last year of my high school. Because, like, I kept feeling tired in those classes. I was only ever able to make it like through just on the edge of a C. And would like get a D after every test, but because like I would do the makeup tests, I would bump it up a little bit to a C. I'm so glad I'm no longer in school, but everyone always assumes that unlucky means that you have bad luck. But maybe unlucky just means you have no luck. Perhaps it is better if you are someone who is unlucky. Maybe no luck is better than having any luck at all. So in the nicest way, I hope your luck runs out. Intriguing. A curse is a terrible thing. Its purpose is always to inflict harm. Many people who are under curses are probably not even aware of the fact that they are. Perhaps they just think they are stuck with some bad luck. Thankfully, there are always ways to reverse a curse. But you may have to try many times and many ways before it is broken. When it is, you may not be sure anything has happened at all. But it is always better to live without a curse. The book proceeds to list different types of curses and possible solutions for them. I don't think I have a curse. Someone had to inflict the curse on you. To inflict the curse on you for it to even work, right? I don't think I know anyone who would want to do that.
I hope no one would want to do that. Omens! An omen foretells the future in a way. It precedes events of a good or horrible nature. The omen itself may even seem like a good or terrible thing that is to occur. Perhaps the most cruel part of a bad omen is that it can lead to something even more horrific. There may even be multiple instances of bad omens leading up to the terrible event. Be aware of the omens in your life. Protect yourself. You may not be able to stop whatever is coming, but you can always prepare yourself for it. Should I be preparing? I don't know what I would prepare for, though, or how I would even start. I hope all the weird stuff that's happened isn't any kind of omen. Wishes. Witch's heart. What is it that you wish? Is it a desire? Perhaps it is even a need. People wish for many things. Every day, all the time. All the time. Whether it is out of want or out of necessity. Do you truly believe a wish can come true, no matter how nonsensical it seems? They say there are many ways for a wish to come true. Many wish on shooting stars, or the first star they see come nightfall. Many wish upon dandelions, or by blowing out the candles on a birthday cake. But make no mistake, a wish is best burned. Burned? A burned wish is bound to come true. At the very least, it has the closest chance. The next time you must wish, try burning it. The results may not be what you imagine, but they are almost sure to come true. We burned a manga. What wish will come true with that? A burned wish. The manga that had that weird writing in it. All this started happening after I burned that book. Maybe whoever left that there left stuff in the other books. I put the book down and rushed quietly to the manga shelf. A burned wish comes true? I wonder. Was it someone's wish that I burned? Or maybe set up a curse in its place? Manga wishes taste the best, I think. If I burned it, did that wish count for me too? Pink. I eventually made it to the shelf I was looking for. Mostly all the set was there. Maybe whoever wrote in that book wrote more in the rest? I took out a book and hurriedly skimmed through the pages. I didn't even care about spoilers. I didn't even care about spoilers I might get by doing so. When the book had nothing in it, I tried another, and then another, and then one of the books fell off the shelf. It surprised me just a bit, and sounded especially loud in the quiet library. And as I went to squat down and pick it up, I noticed it had opened itself. On the page was a cemetery of all things. But even stranger, there was a slip of paper that had found its way into the book as well. Oh my god, scared because I think I heard someone from upstairs make a noise. I think. Ooh. Was this left by the same person who left such a mess in the other book? I picked it up and began to read the note that was left. People are never gone forever. I promise you, this statement is true. There is no such thing as a departed soul. So much water is rushing by right now. Someone's either taking a bath, washing their hands, doing dishes, or flushing the toilet. Not anymore. I will not regret this decision, but I must live knowing the truth of it. Not because no one will listen, but because it will leave me lonely for a long, long time. That's okay. It doesn't really feel lonely, even when it does. In fact, it's kind of fun. I wonder how much I will be able to see before it is over. That is, if you ever intended for this to have an ending to begin with. Makes me wonder how many variations I will see. Say, if you're reading this, and I know you are, why don't you tell me? I'd love to hear your side. Note ended there. I'm not entirely sure what it means. I couldn't really understand any of it. I'm sure I missed the whole story behind it, but whoever wrote it, I hope you know that, I'm listening. And I hope you won't be lonely for long. Because nobody should ever, ever have to be lonely. I left the library after that. It couldn't be a coincidence that the manga just happened to open to a page with a cemetery on it. So I decided I would check there for anything new or suspicious. Any kind of sign. I spent a while there, going down the rows, inspecting each grave for something new, something different. A letter that changed, or a color that shifted. Anything. And then I happened upon it. In the way, way back of the cemetery, right before the iron fence, where the cemetery ends and the forest begins, there was a new grave here. A grave I had never seen before. And I would know, because I've seen them all. It had a strange writing on it, unlike any language I had ever seen before. Was it a code? But why would someone have coding on their grave? There was something weird about it. And the closer I got to it, and the closer I got to it, to inspect it, I began to feel nauseous. It was just like at the church, at the funeral. It made me feel dizzy. Just a little bit. It was as if a strange pressure was emanating from it. That was still the best word I could use to describe it. Just pressure. I really didn't want to get sick again. But this headstone, it was so curious. It had to be related to the rest of all this. It had to be. I wanted to inspect it more, but by that point, I had been out all day. I knew the cemetery would be closing soon, and I couldn't stay for long. Not to mention I was very tired. I had been running around all day. It was finally starting to catch up to me. This weird headstone starting to make me dizzy again didn't help any either. I decided that I would head home and try to make sense of it all tomorrow. After all, it's not like the grave will be going anywhere, unless it gets up on two legs and walks off. So I packed up and headed home. It would probably do me some good to get some rest. My head was spinning with so many strange concepts after all. I followed my usual routine, the one I always follow when I get home. And well, you already know what comes next. Okay, I think this is where I'll stop, because my throat's feeling a little sore. And by then, I hope I figure out how to properly make my tea, so like, not too much powder, so then it doesn't get too powdery, and not too much, what's it called? Or not too little powder, so then it just tastes like water with slight flavoring. But hopefully, maybe I'll just find like the old brand I used to use, so then I don't have to worry about that. But yeah, that was fun. I'm very excited for how this is going, because like we didn't see any of the no ghost book, no talking to ghosts, probably cursed. Yeah. I hope Mary's okay. But yeah, that was fun. That was good. I'm very intrigued, but also very scared. And I
think Friday I'll probably play Witch's Heart, and I hopefully want to do an art stream either on Saturday and Sunday, and then get back to Cemetery Mary Monday. So I hope everyone has a good day, good night, good afternoon, and adios.